5826. 800-823-5826. 800-823-5826. That's 800-823-5826.
Okay, here we are. Welcome to A Common Thread. I am Sonia V.
And I'm Iguaran.
And I am Greyson Thomas.
Yes. And our hashtag line is the wins, the losses, and the curveballs in life. So we're glad that you have joined us on this Monday evening. You could be doing other things, but you're here with us, and we're so glad that you're here. So, has your week been, Eva? We always do this, a quick check-in before we start the podcast.
Well, like you said last week, it's only Monday. So not but I had a really good weekend. Actually got to hang out with a couple of good friends of mine who just had a birthday. And that was a good times. We went to, I think, a restaurant called Eggtastic. Have you ever been to Eggtastic?
I have not.
I had their chilaquiles, so that was on Sunday. So my weekend was good. How about you?
busier than I wanted it to be.
Hmm.
Oh, my mic is. I always do this.
You didn't have
See, like,
you didn't have any downtime.
There you go.
You're okay.
The
Wait,
mic was like all the way over there.
for context, there was a lot going on pre-setting this up, so yeah.
I have a pretty big mouth. So.
Yeah.
Thank you, Grayson.
No worries. But yeah.
How about you,
My
Grayson?
well, I was gonna say you probably guessed it, but my week was kind of stressful. I just look a little unrestful, I should say. I didn't get enough sleep. But yeah. But it's getting better to start off the week.
I believe you might be muted still, Sonia.
I'm
So
not, and I can't. I'm having trouble with my texting, so I cannot text her back right now. So
Mike's 1-7 and phone.
Sonia. Sonia, can you hear me? It's Tiffany.
Yes, I can hear you, ma'am.
Sonia, you have mic 5 in front of you, not mic 1, which is
Oh, right
connected
here.
to the
Here you
table
go,
next
Sonia.
to you, hun.
Oh, oops. There we go. Now we're good.
Okay.
Is that
Sonia,
good?
I don't know what it is about this new setup, but you have not pulled the mic to you the
No, I
past.
haven't. No, I haven't.
It's just a new thing for you. Okay, all right, you'll get used to it. All right.
I guess
Have
at
a good
some
show,
point I will.
guys.
All
Thank
right,
you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
So anyway, we are here in Burleson, Texas, and I am so excited to have Greyson Thomas on our show because, first of all, I've been good friends with his mom probably 12 plus years. It might be already 15. I don't even know. And
Since we talked. I'm sorry. Since we
And-
talked since the Tito days.
since the Tito days.
Yeah.
So we went to the same
It's
church.
a pastor, by the way. Pastor. Yeah.
And we
thanks.
went to church together, and it's been your mom and dad actually used to host quite a few gatherings at their home and
Mhm.
meals together, and so
Mhm.
I've known Grayson for a long time. So to have him here, and he wants to be authentic and transparent and
Yes, ma'am.
and the most uplift Jesus, and I can't wait to hear your story. I don't know really too much, but we actually had about an hour talk before the show.
Yeah. A good one too.
And
Like,
so even
yeah.
when you know somebody, you don't know somebody.
Mhm.
And
Mhm.
you were asking about my weekend with hanging out with two friends, and it was funny because she brought questions for us to answer, and she was sitting there taking notes about each of us.
Wow.
And I
Yeah.
thought that was very intentional, that sometimes even if you're sitting across from your best friend, you don't know what they really like. You don't know maybe their favorite color or their favorite candy. There's still something that we can learn
Right.
about each other
That's awesome.
if we take the
Yeah.
time.
No, yeah, that's beautiful to have a friend do that for you. That's like in a way like the perfect student, but for a friendship, right?
Mhm.
If you saw a note taker in class, and if you're having a conversation, yeah, that's
So even if
awesome.
you know
Yeah.
somebody, you don't know somebody. We're still
yeah.
getting to know. Like I've known Sonia for many years, and we're still getting to know Sonia. I love her to death. And
I love you too.
Yeah.
Love you, man.
wait, come on,
Love you, man.
over here, Sonia.
Fist bump.
Like
I feel like that's the first time y'all fist bumped.
I think so.
Yeah.
Well, her and I have, but I've done
Okay,
it with,
okay.
I've done it with other people.
all right.
It's on my- I always try to do that with I notice with little kids, especially at church.
Right.
Like
Careful.
I've had people try to handshake them, and so if I'm there, when they try to do that, I'll go like this, and they'll immediately
Like they
do
know
a
what
fist
Yeah.
bump. So
yeah.
the little kids relate more to the fist bump than they do to a handshake. It's
Exactly.
That's
hysterical.
funny. That's funny.
I love
yeah.
it. Well, Grayson, I'm really grateful that you're here, and I know that we're going to be talking about a pretty heavy topic, specifically just to kind of read what we're going to be discussing about faith in our current times, the ideas and issues with self-medication, and the problem as a society facing dealing with mental illness. So we're probably not going to be able to cover all of it, of course, in one podcast, because we could not exhaust this topic. But kind of tell us your story a little bit, and so our audience can get to know you a little bit, and me as well.
Right. Well, I guess to start off, vice versa, what Eva was saying, I've also known her and just really certain friends I was with for a while, and gotten to know them, and a better word to put it is know them like empathetically, so to speak. Just kind of getting the vibe and soaking up like this energy in the room, and then spending time even with her children because they're around my age. And for even more context, like I go to a certain church that had, you know, a bunch of kids my age. Like it was like a school basically, or like being on a team with. Basically, I just had a lot of friends growing up, and yeah, and I forgot where I was going with this.
But
Forgive me.
you've known us for a
Yes,
while, and you
yes,
know my
ma'am.
kids.
No,
and-
yeah, and so with that, you also start to I guess they're a direct reflection, and you spend time with these people, and you just kind of absorb all these different cultures, I guess. And especially around the time I was growing up, with how fast things were moving, because I was born 1999, like right on the cusp, right? So while things are moving, and introduced to phones, and then phones get more advanced, and now your phone is your computer, and so we're keeping up with this knowledge too, right as it's coming out. And um yeah, I feel like I'm rambling.
Well, you
Sorry,
got
but
shoved into, and because I've been studying and reading about this, like my generation, our generation, Sonia and I's generation, we had the advantage of not having that at our
right,
fingertips,
right.
and we know both worlds.
And we were also young enough to kind of adapt.
Right. So
Yeah.
that's what the article was saying that I read, that we were also, like you said, even though we didn't grow up with it, we kind of were right there learning and still able to adapt somewhat. But
Okay.
in our heads, we can go back to the time where actually I don't need this phone, or actually I can.
No,
But
and
you,
no, and
on the
thank
other
you. Yeah,
hand,
because
were
I
just
was
shoved into
glued
this.
to it. No, and I
Yeah.
was like, if I could do the research to help my friend who's dealing with a certain situation that they're talking about, let me do the research and help my friend. And I'm glued to the phone, and I'm kind of being like just super overprotective, and super, and I get like I'm just that, not to toot my own horn, but I get that way. I'm an empathetic person. So if someone's feeling this way, I'm gonna do whatever I can to help them, basically. And yeah, and through that, I would also just like doom research, I guess, or doom scroll, and well, what's wrong with me now? And because I knew like I had some certain stuff growing up, tics, nervous things. I would pinch myself if I felt uncomfortable, bite my tongue. I would sometimes stutter, and so I would see friends who would actually be diagnosed with some form of, I guess it's called Tourette's, but there's levels to it.
Mhm.
So I did the research at a young age and deduced the fact that, yeah, I have minor Tourette's, and I'd bring it up to my mother, who just doesn't believe in mental illnesses in general and would dismiss it. So I kind of just grew up with this and dealt with it, and it's a minor thing. Asthma as well. I no longer, I mean, I've treated it. I stopped using. I used to be on like the breath tank or whatever. So I put two and two together to kind of solve these battles in my life. Yeah, except for my vision. Which, yeah.
And you-
I know.
And you were using a lot of times the computer at your hand, the phone at your hand,
the tools I had at my
to
disposal.
figure out, okay,
Mm.
what's wrong with me? Like, why do I
Yes,
have
and it's,
this?
yeah,
Or what's wrong with my classmate? Because
exactly,
you're
yeah.
seeing your classmate have this issue or that issue, and you're like, oh, let me look it up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this is what they have. Oh, this must be what I have.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What I was always, I say like to remain logical, in the sense that like I don't want to overplay it. You know what I mean? Because then it becomes not an emergency, or not a serious. I always made sure to like do my own I don't know how to. Sorry, I
You were
don't know how to.
you were trying to fix yourself,
A little
or
bit,
just
yeah.
deal with it yourself.
Yeah, exactly.
do
Because
you-
I didn't have a lot of voices that kind of believed that it was
Mhm.
happening to me. So let me be my own best doctor, basically. Yeah.
So how far back do you want to go? Do you want to go back to your time in Austin, or do you want to talk about your earlier childhood and how you felt?
It just depends on what you're comfortable with.
Well, I can start from the beginning, which was at age 6, so 2006, and yeah, just to give it context from there, I got sexually assaulted, basically. Um, and I blacked that out, right? Like I kept it hidden, shut off, coped with it at a very, very, very young age. So I was also very empathetic to people who used coping mechanisms, and I could see it. I knew what they were doing. I would do the same thing with adults and my friends and their parents and eventually coworkers, right? So I've always just had this kind of certain discernment between, is there something going on, and what can I do to help? So from there, I guess I dealt with that and went through just the reality of like middle school and high school, and those were lesser challenges. That's just getting bullied and getting made fun of and stuff. But as I was kind of going through these stages, it was very clear to me that I had to. Sorry if I take this off because I just keep hearing myself.
Yeah, you can take it off.
But it was very clear to me that I had to keep track of myself and what I was doing, and because in reality, a lot of other people do certain things to protect themselves, and they might not believe you in a certain situation. So I've always just at the core tried to remain me and have no type of ego, and so I would come up with kind of these. I'm sorry if I'm rambling, but
No.
like my glasses, for instance, I am legally blind, and if I took these off and you saw them, they're like bottle the
Bottle
big
cap.
old
Yeah, they're
Coke
thick.
can Mexican bottles, right? Yeah. And fun fact, they're actually shaved down because I paid extra money to make them look skinnier. And yeah, and it sucks when you're, say, if you're at a point where you need help and you call upon your dad or your mother, and you tell them, hey, I forgot my glasses today. I'm literally legally blind. I can't do anything under the law. I can't drive. I can't I can't do anything without these glasses. And they think you're lying. And the only way to kind of prove that is to put them in your shoes, in your clothes, and let them kind of be you. So that's why it's very important to stay true to who you are. So if it comes down to it, you can kind of help other people through the misunderstanding, through the disconnect. If you wore these, you would understand how I see every day. Our prescription is so different, but I'm willing to kind of make that sacrifice.
So he's
that
kind
makes
of
sense.
he's kind of giving an analogy.
Thank you.
I can't even say that word correctly. In that, can you actually understand where I'm at? Are you in my shoes?
Yeah.
And do you believe me? Do you believe that I was
It was
assaulted?
No, it was always like an identity crisis from day one, almost. And it took and I feel like that's what maybe a lot of kids can go through if they do their own bad research, and they're just like, yeah, okay, that fits with me. That kind of fits in with my story. I'm going to pick and choose that. And then they get jumbled into this mess. But it's very important. You know who you are, you know what you can handle, you know where you come from, you talk to your parents, you are honest with your parents, you are honest with the people close to you, because those are the only people that are going to help you at the end of the day, and that can give you the correct resources to solve whatever you're going through.
Wow.
So, um, but yeah, so and it's weird. So from day one, I've kept, Inception, right? There's always a secret that knows you're in reality. Yeah, I've always had to keep one little thing about me just to make sure you are my best friend and you do know me, and it's even harder when I get tattoos, and I my most secret tattoo is on my ankle, but I'm not going to tell you which one, So
That's funny.
and yeah, it's just very hard to kind of live that way, and it's not good. And I think what I'm seeing is because, I've I'm not the only one going through this. I've even encountered friends who same situation. So I know for a fact what I'm going through is a real thing. It's a current thing that's happening in today's society.
So
And
basically, since the age of 6, you have felt some sort of way, some sort of type of depression or
exactly,
anxiety, and you have just
exactly.
dealt with it on every level.
Yeah,
You've
and if
just
I had
kind of
to and
just
if I
been
had to deal
dealing.
with it naturally too, like literally think about it and try to help because at that point I was too scared to even talk to a doctor. I was terrified. I couldn't tell him the whole truth. The only, and I will be transparent. I literally have the Bible on me, so I have to be transparent. I have to tell the whole truth. The only really thing that I knew medically about me was that I had a heart murmur, and that's it. And I do need to get that checked out. But then, yeah, I would I guess they would say you might. They also said so, and then I got a blood test or some for a reason. Sorry if I'm stuttering again, but um, yeah, they said you might be allergic to peanuts. And then I had a little bit of an ego at like 6 years old or whatever age yeah, going on from then. Well, let me try peanuts. I love peanut butter and I don't get hives from that. So the doctor was wrong. So then I disproved a doctor about that. But I knew to take my heart seriously, kind of. Like you I from an early age I knew what was serious, if that makes sense. Even but yeah, and that's a
So fast.
so yeah, I would kind of just test things out with myself and play my own doctor. So I would and even find out things. So I wasn't allergic to peanuts, but I was allergic to walnuts, and my mom knows that story. I'd break out in hives, but I loved eating walnuts and pecans with my great grandparents because they have a big pecan tree, and we would go pick them up every summer. And I literally don't get hives. I just eat them. I have such a love for them. No, I swear to God. And so I would just, if I can literally, it kind of did give me a sense of pride that if I can, if I can like cure myself of a walnut allergy and cure myself of asthma and not be on this breathing tank. It was like way back in the day before it was like really bad asthma. They would put you in the like Dark Vader, right? That took you out, and then I moved on to the inhaler. And maybe it's just me progressing, but it was the fact that like I wanted to progress. I wanted to do this naturally, and so I would just push myself to do it. And yeah, and then I'm sorry, we could probably get into the Austin thing now, but yeah. So I just had that. I've had that sense of discernment and that sense of pride from a young age, I guess. So,
And you felt like you've had to kind of because you knew certain things about yourself that were you kind of like self-sufficient and not asking your parents
I
for
knew I
help?
could be, yeah.
So you weren't asking your parents like, "Hey,
Oh well,
I
no, I was
have."
still okay. Sorry, yeah, I was still a child. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I for sure, yeah. If I could, if I but I would never, ask them for. Okay, so I'm also I love bringing proof. I'm also a little bit of a lawyer that way. I'm a child actor. It's a really ugly picture. Okay.
Wow.
I wasn't the most beautiful child actor, right?
Yeah, you were.
Thank you. Thank you. But
And a great dancer.
thank you.
Yeah,
Okay.
excellent,
Thank you.
excellent
Yes.
dancer.
Yes.
And
I
teacher, dance teacher.
I was yeah, thank you. Thank
Mhm.
you. Yeah, and
Actually, a lot like just hearing all of this, like I'm hearing you kind of share some very heavy things that happened to you in your childhood, and just the way that you're kind of like processing and unraveling it for our audience. Just basically knowing that you have like because this is a problem, right? Like to be sexually assaulted
yes.
and
Yeah.
then you're handling all of this mentally. This is
Yes.
as a child, this is a lot of a mental weight and you are self-diagnosing and you're trying to figure things out and like who is Grayson?
Yes.
Because all of us at a young age are trying to find our identity.
Mhm.
And so you can identify like you're telling us basically, okay, I was a child actor. I
Mhm.
know you dance, that's part of your identity. And now you're taking this identity of someone who's been harmed as a child and you're kind of like working through some of these things. And we're
Yeah.
about to go to break, so I just want our listeners
Okay.
to know to come back. I want them to hear the second part of your story, and we're going to get into mental health and
Cool. All right.
that topic.
All right.
Awesome.
Join us after the break. See you soon.
If you are trying to quit drinking or doing too many drugs, listen to me. You don't know me and we'll never meet. I had a problem like you once. I drank and used to party a little too much till it got out of control and almost ruined my life. I realized I needed help to fix my problem before it totally destroyed me. If you've tried to fix your drinking and drug problem and you know you can't do it alone, you need to call the National Treatment Advisors. They'll immerse you into a 30-day program to replace your old habits with new habits and totally change your life. And if you have PPO private health insurance, the entire program may be covered. Fix your problem right now before it gets any worse. Get clean. Call now and learn more. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581. 877-247-1581.
Attention all business owners and creative minds. Do you need a unique and personalized touch for your products? Look no further than Romika Laser Engraving and Custom Designs. I'm Ron Phillips, co-owner of Romika Designs. We offer custom laser engraving services for a variety of products, including promotional items and corporate or personal gifts. With state-of-the-art equipment and a team of skilled designers, we can engrave intricate designs on virtually any material. Whether it's a special message, a company logo, or a custom design, Romika Laser Engraving will help you make your mark. And the best part, our prices are affordable and our turnaround time is quick.
I couldn't be happier with the work Romika Laser Engraving did for me. The engraving on my product was precise and exactly what I wanted.
So don't wait any longer to add a personal touch to your products. Call Romika Laser Engraving and Custom Designs today at 817-400-4040 or visit our website at romikadesigns.com. We look forward to helping you make your mark.
A little annoying.
Yeah. This is my first podcast, believe
Yeah.
it or not. I'm not like most men.
Welcome back. I'm Sonia V.
I'm Eva Iguaran.
And I'm Greyson Thomas.
I'm going to read our commercials. NTX Radio proudly serves all of North Texas and can be heard all over the world on TuneIn Radio Network and on the NTX Radio app available on Android and Apple CarPlay, or just ask Alexa to play NTX Radio. Check out our lineup and more at ntxradio.com. We thank our valued sponsors in helping us amplify the voices of North Texas communities and businesses. So, protect your family with a will or trust. Connect with Todd Hurd and Associates, attorneys at law for all your civil law needs at texasattorneylaw.com. Processing credit cards? Join the Swipe Nation today and save on processing fees at swipenationusa.com. Locally owned and operated and will be any rates. Got sleeves? Dress your arms and more at thetiffy.com for women's accessories and more. Made in the USA. And it's time to take your business to the next level. Hosting a radio show and podcast is a powerful way to connect with a wider audience, build brand awareness, and drive sales. Let's discuss your business goals and how a custom show can help you achieve them. Email Tiffany at t.hurd@ntxradio.com to get amplified. Okay. Well, thank you for joining us again on the second half. So kind of to summarize the first half, we have Greyson Thomas here with us, and he shared his story about being sexually assaulted as a 6-year-old, and that's pretty heavy. So, but we're here to bring real topics about real people, and I appreciate your vulnerability to share that with us.
No worries.
And he kind of shared the process he went through to kind of find healing. And I want to say this first, that hearing you talk, like, you don't sound like you're a 26-year-old. And the fact that you were that introspective and in tune with yourself to know, like, is amazing to me, because I think most kids, well, I don't know. I don't remember being that way as a child, but I appreciate the kind of the tips that you dealt with, and the compassion that you've developed. I think when we have things happen to us, none of those things are good, right? We never, because I don't like when people say, well, it happened for a reason.
Yeah.
I don't like hearing that. But despite of that, God can use what happened in our lives, not because he caused it or anything like that, but he can turn it around.
No, and doing that, reflecting honestly, that is where I am at today. Because I've had to go back, and for instance, it's very hard to have a conversation with my own mother and father, and I never think that shouldn't be a thing. You should always be able to turn to your mom or dad to find comfort and to help you through a situation. So when I can't do that, I know there's a problem, and that's how you get certain situations. There was a story that we even encountered at our own church that we go to, where a mother's own son took her life, if I could say that. Because that's personal, but but it's also very serious. Like, what happens to make it get that way? And I would experience, and I'm experiencing that now, where I want to take a break, and I need to reflect on what happened. So yeah, going back as a child, honestly, thank God that I got that discernment, and that it happened to me that way. Because looking back, it could have happened way worse, is what I'm saying. It was, I mean, it was when we were children, and children aren't, it says literally in the Bible, children aren't to blame. They will always go to heaven if they die, so their sin is forgiven. Like, they are kids at the end of the day. So in a sense, we were being kids when that happened. It was with another kid, right? We were both 6 years old. And so, honestly, thank God it wasn't someone from my own family. Thank God it wasn't, thank God it wasn't like tragic or public or embarrassing, or if I can say that, because it is. I don't want to. But
You don't want to downplay.
no, because it's serious. And when someone, in my case, if someone does say no in that moment, it does mean no. But while we're both, relatively in the same age and also the same gender, and we're, best friends, that at that, well, if you're my best friend, why are you saying no? Well, there's obviously, so I've from that age, God gave me the discernment that no means no, and that is consent. And I will always fight for that for people. And so yeah, that was the, I guess, the lesson I learned at 6 years old. I don't know. Yeah.
So I would now I kind of want to go to the time that you told me about in Austin.
Yeah, so that was an event in itself. I've gotten over way tougher trials than that. But yeah, I was going through it, many people, they go through like a loss of faith. They turn agnostic, and they will they lose a sense of belief when they get older, or when they have they're like their own adult. They're living on their own, which was my case. I was, living on my own in Austin. And we had a sorry if I'm blanking again because it comes back, but I got it. Living in Austin, I just kind of stopped going to church. I lost that foundation that I had, the one that's been kind of guiding me through, and helped me have this sense of like power and this empathy. When I kind of turned away from him and stopped, as in turned away, as in like just stop reading, stop, um, going to church, hanging out with my church people that had those qualities that I loved, and that, so I moved. And by the way, I'm from a native from Fort Worth. Like my great grandparents are from there. I still visit them today. So I have roots there. So when I moved away from there and was in Austin, I'm trying to make friends and still be empathetic with everybody, but it's just a total change. Like this is the world we live. This is Austin. Like I didn't like now it's getting hard to like discern, and I can't keep, I'm like just trying to fit, like I'm trying to fit in, and and like, well, I want to know the area, and I want to, have friends, and a big part about me is that I love helping. I love helping unsheltered people or homeless people. I talk to them. I take it. I play the Jesus role in that fact, right? But but the case down there, what I found was that, I'm helping these people, and they say one thing, and then I don't ever see them again, or they mistake that trust, and then I would it would just leave me like scratching my head. I was like, wow, it just wasn't. They totally fooled me, And then anyway, so to get to Austin, I was losing my faith. I was questioning a lot of stuff. I wasn't getting a lot of sleep, and then psychosis kind of kicked in, which I had to learn about. I you know So I was kind of stuck in this state, and I was working at a restaurant at the time, and some of my closest friends at that restaurant, they took it upon themselves. They knew what was going on. They saw that I was coming into work and not doing a good job, and thank God, because I was, a manager, and if I did something wrong, that's just a big reflection. It's a huge responsibility. So they saw I had this position. I was doing bad practice, so I would be doing bad business, and they didn't want that. Like they were good people, and they took it upon themselves to bring me to a mental facility, to the ER, which was involuntarily, is what it's called when someone else has to bring you. You didn't volunteer to go. And God is funny because in their minds they told me we were just gonna hang out, like like, hey, let's get you out of here, like, and I was so I had to say yes, or I guess I said yes, but and then we went to the ER, and then I'm playing this game where I'm like, I got fooled again, but maybe it's kind of for the right reason, and so then I'm kind of just being honest, but I also didn't have a lot of sleep. I'm just like not in like a right frame of mind. And long story short, to put me to sleep, I was given something. I still didn't have the right frame of mind to even, they would ask me questions. It was weird. It was like I was sleep talking or like having a conversation. But I can recount every conversation I had with them because, and I take it very serious because I don't want anyone to say that. You know what I mean? Oh, I just blacked out. I don't remember anything. If that's a scapegoat you want to use, then that's dangerous. Because what does that even mean? What does it truly mean to not remember anything? But I do remember right when I did receive the medication. That is when I fell asleep, and so that was truly blacking out. And then I woke up.
How long did you sleep for?
I think a day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, you were that tired.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so while you were there, did they give you a diagnosis?
Or
do you know what
they gave
happened?
me I think they were deducing it to the fact of bipolar, because they kept telling me you have, and I'm learning this all in real time, and they're telling me you have the choice to either be a really good person or a really bad person. And but then going back to the 6-year-old me, I was like, I'm a good person. Like I always fight for good. So I was like, I don't know. I guess it just got kind of rewired in that sense. And that just shell shocked me again. So I was like, oh my gosh, did I do something bad? Like, was there at any point, did I ever like, why, like, and then I didn't have anything to.
You were questioning why you were there?
Yeah, in a sense, yeah. And then when they saw that conversation, that they have nurses and watchers, you sit in when you're in the ER for something like that, you'll sit in a room and they'll watch you until you fall asleep and see how you behave. And so I guess when time was up, they shipped me to the mental institution, and and then that was it was all just overwhelming, and it put me back in like a shell shock state, because I just didn't know where I was at this point. And I felt kind of like, it felt like kind of like Stockholm, like I just didn't want to be there, but I had to be there, I think. Because they're there to help me, I think.
Yeah.
And yeah, fun fact, I guess. No, I mean, yeah, just
So you were
no,
there.
yeah.
You were there how long, and then somebody came to get you out, or?
Well, yeah, and I was given
Medication to go home.
Yeah, I was given medication to go home. A lot of it, like, if I can say that, but yeah, just random, because I guess they were also trying to deduce they were coming up with it as well. I knew what they were doing.
They were trying to figure out
Yeah.
what medicines to prescribe.
Yeah, but I also knew what I had like I know I don't have any of this like from, and I guess it could have been developed at that point, but and I took that part serious. So I it's like Lexapro and stuff, or like antipsychotics, I guess is what they because they're pointing in the direction of like schizophrenia and oh sorry, they're pointing in the direction of like schizophrenia, multiple personality disorder, bipolar. So I'm taking all these medications, seeing what works for me, and deducing it myself,
And trying to navigate.
so I don't have to be dependent on a certain thing that's wrong, I guess.
Mhm.
But
So it was kind of like trial and error. Is that what was
yeah,
going on?
a guinea pig. Yeah.
Yeah. That's how it works sometimes.
And
Unfortunately.
how old were you at that when you were in
Uh,
Austin? Like
20
18, 19,
No,
20?
22,
Oh, 22.
23.
Okay.
Yeah,
So it was like 3-4 years ago. Okay.
yeah.
And then most
Mhm.
recently, do you want to walk us through what happened most recently? Or are we not finished with
No, we
what happened
can't.
there?
Most recently, well,
Mhm.
I did go to I checked myself into another mental hospital, because I was going through a psychotic. No, I felt suicidal, honestly.
But you had gone through a pretty devastating breakup of a relationship that you had for a while too, right? So there was like
Yeah.
it was reasons for the depression.
No, yeah, it just I felt I was feeling the same way I felt like when I was 6 years old, if that makes sense. So but now I would have been, I guess it would be 25 or 24, and I'm just like, man. So I took it upon myself to, or it was another just weird situation where like a therapist I was talking to, because my mom and my dad did come to my rescue and try to help me navigate this. Like, thank God for that. And so they got me in touch with a therapist. We'll call her Miss Plant. And because that's what she said.
Miss Plant.
She yeah yeah and
So they came to
no,
Austin to pick you up.
yeah, yes ma'am. From sorry, yeah, and from yeah, no, well, this is at a different, my second
Facility.
tour through the facilities.
Okay.
Yes ma'am.
And then they'd sent you home with quite a few medications.
And then yeah, they weren't helping me get anything done. Like, I still felt like, I guess I did feel numb, and I came out of it, and I was like, just honestly, I want to leave that in the past. Like, that whole situation was entirely too crazy for me. And but now when I'm under the care of my mom, I did turn to her, and she helped me get through, navigate it. And so I'm under her care, and moving around with her for about like a year or two. And yeah, and then I get like really, really depressed, but it's at the point where I'm like getting psychosis again. I can't make a decision, and so I get on the phone, or the phone
But
rings.
it's not just the medication. It's
Mhm.
like not sleeping.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
So there's confusion, there's depression, there's not sleeping.
There's many factors.
There's over medicating sometimes maybe, or not under medicating, because maybe sometimes you forget to take something.
Well, yeah, well, yeah, well, yeah, and that has to do with, yeah, but I'm sorry. Do you think my water? Oh,
Where'd it go?
I got it. I found it. um,
So you went through that scenario, and then more recently, you were still on the medicines, and then, or did you stop taking them for a season? Because they sent you from Austin, so you had stuff from Austin that they sent you home with.
yes, but it also said like void, kind of like just it doesn't matter is what it says on the paper, like void. So I just treated it as it didn't matter, and I just weaned myself off of it and just didn't take it. Me and my mother, we moved again. Excuse me. Kind of back closer to where I originally grew up. Excuse me. Which was like back in I can say it's a big place. Keller. Grew up in Keller. And yeah, so we're moving a bunch, and me as a person, I don't like moving. I'm very I like to have my comfortable peace, move at a peaceful pace. But everything's getting stirred up again. I'm getting overwhelmed, and I'm moving, and maybe I'm thinking like, okay, did I like need that? I'm like second guessing, I guess, and I just hate feeling that way. And then it gets to the point where I'm moved in to like a really basically Harry Potter's closet or Van Gogh's art studio. He just lived in, which was essentially a mental facility. That's how the rooms were built. It was just a bed and a box, nothing. But back then it looked weird. And you can actually look up Van Gogh drew one of his like more famous art pieces is him drawing his own like room when he was the most depressed. But he was under the watch of, he was going through something. So I was set up in this little Van Gogh Harry Potter style closet, and just losing my mind and hearing things that trigger me. Like arguments is a big thing that triggers me. I can't stand when there's arguing, so I try to kind of be a referee and settle it because as an empathetic person, I don't want to feel that energy that there's a conflict going on. So
you would say that is like a trigger for you?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. No, that is. Yeah. And you got to be aware of that. And it's rough when you try to explain that to someone like, hey, arguing is a trigger. And then they like want to keep talking. And then that's where I get like, I'm like, okay, well, peace.
I want to keep on arguing, and you're like,
yeah, but I can't because it makes me feel weird. So I gotta just leave. And then and then you just gotta deal with that. Yeah, and then it's a funny thing. But no, but you got to be very serious with like what actually does like trigger those. What triggers the root cause, like what sends you back to your 6-year-old self? You know what I mean? And it was those. It started with, no, I don't want to do this. Yes, you do. Okay.
So we have actually 3 minutes for our show, but I really wanted to get on to like how you feel about, and I don't know if you had anything, Sonia, to.
I think, before I would like to say this, I would love to have you back. Would you be willing to come back?
I'll make time for it for sure. I have a busy schedule, but yes, ma'am.
Whenever you do, because so I would be interested to know like more, because since you experienced all this, I just kind of wanted like a part 2 to, people that have gone through a similar situation.
Oh, for sure. No, yeah, because I can better prepare my words
you've already said so much that I don't know what listeners out there, because our common thread, that's like part of our show, is like finding something in common. And sadly, as I'm listening to your stories, half of our audience will be able to relate and the other won't. And that's okay. Because when I was listening to your story, sadly, I have some common threads even more. Because, as we were talking earlier, how we were saying we don't want to steal each other's story, or what was that? What was that you were telling me?
No, exactly. So in the mental facility, I would literally witness people because they're all dealing with something. They would say, "Don't steal my story," and I'm like, "Let them fix their let them heal. It's their story." Like
right.
I just never understood that. Yeah.
So I'm here and I'm listening to you and I'm thinking, wow, there is something so in common, tragically, that you experienced as a 6-year-old, and there's going to be so many listeners that have experienced something similar and are still trying to unravel.
Thank God.
Because this is an unraveling, and what you've been sharing is an unraveling of yourself and trying to come back to your identity. And I can hear you fighting to get back to what's normal and how to handle that, because no 6-year-old should have to handle any of that.
No.
And and anybody could say what they want, but if they haven't been through anything similar, they wouldn't get it. So I'm just going to affirm you and say thank you for being transparent and sharing your heart. And I see you and I understand. And sadly, more than anything, there's so many listeners who can completely see where you are, see your pain, and understand that story. And it's so
Thank you.
we want to have you back on, and we
Thank
want to
you.
we want to understand,
Yes.
Mm.
and we want to take the time to hear you and understand you.
Yeah, we want to validate your feelings. And again, thank you for sharing. I know it wasn't easy. And we see your tears, and so does God.
Amen. Thank you so much. Thank God.
Well, thank you for joining us this evening. And as we always close the show, don't give up. Hold on to Jesus.
Keep looking up.
We'll see you next
Amen.
time.
From Burleson to Venus and Grandview to Godley, this is the voice of Johnson County, Joco Community Radio.
Hey travelers, do you want to save money on your next flight? Then pick up the phone and call. That's right, call, because the best prices are not online. They're with SmartFares. See, SmartFares has special deals with the airlines. When they have unsold seats, they use SmartFares to fill them. So you get airline tickets at ridiculously low prices. Our prices are too low to publish online. With the extra money you'll save, you can book another trip or treat yourself to dinner or shopping. So stop searching all of those travel sites to find the lowest price on your next flight. Let one of our SmartFares expert travel agents find ridiculously low prices for you. Call SmartFares today and get the best price on your next flight. Guaranteed. Also, save up to 50% off business and first class tickets.
855-325-1820. 855-325-1820. That's 855-325-1820.
Have you ever met a single person in your life that enjoys paying taxes? No, no one does. If you can't sleep at night because you have a huge problem with the IRS, I've got some free advice for you. This service is strictly limited to individuals that owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes. And if you qualify, we can guarantee that you won't be writing a big fat check to the IRS, or our services cost you nothing. The first 100 people that call today will get a free tax consultation worth $500. Stop worrying about your IRS problem. We can help you, we promise. Call the tax doctor right now. I mean right now, to learn more.
800-240-4587. 800-240-4587. 800-240-4587. That's 800-240-4587.
Why have thousands of aspiring authors teamed up with Christian Faith Publishing to publish their book? Because Christian Faith Publishing is an author-friendly publisher who understands that your labor is more than just a book. We provide authors freedom and flexibility throughout the publishing process, professional book editing, award-winning design, and some of the highest royalty structures in the publishing industry. And as always, you will retain 100% of the rights to your book.
I was looking to find a company that I could trust, one that assisted in the editing process completely.
The most important qualities that I was looking for was a publisher who was honest and upfront, no hidden costs or fees, and owning the rights to my own work.
Christian Faith Publishing will publish, market, and sell your books in all major bookstores, online booksellers, as well as specialty Christian bookstores. Call for your free author submission kit.
800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. 800-978-4812. That's 800-978-4812.
Here's important new information from the Diabetes Solution Center for you, a family member, or a loved one suffering with diabetes. If you have lost your provider, or if you need a provider for diabetic supplies, you may qualify to receive your diabetic testing supplies now with little or no out-of-pocket cost, regardless of your age. All you need is Medicare or private insurance to be potentially eligible. Call the Diabetes Solution Center right now for details. Just takes a couple of minutes. Our friendly, knowledgeable agents will give you free, no-obligation information, handle all the insurance paperwork, and make sure your supplies are delivered directly to your door for free.
Call U.S. Medical Supply 24 hours a day. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. 800-597-9323. Call right now. 800-597-9323.
Joco Community Radio. Listen live at jococommunityradio.com.
Just leaving work on a Friday. Just got paid and I'm down on my way. Down to a place that nobody knows, where the warm summer